Hey, seventh graders. So this past week, what we worked on, we focused mostly on this bottom part of the levels of organization, which the cell for our class, like the atoms and molecule, are even smaller. But for us, we talked about the cell theory, the modern cell theory. There are 3 components of that. So you want to get that kind of memorized in your brain. And we spent the most of our time talking about the cell. This right here is a picture of the plant cell that we colored. And then we had the animal cell. If, as parents, you are guardians or people who are taking care of these students, if you're taking a look at these papers, you saw these papers go home, there is an app on quivervision.com where you can actually take this 2-dimensional page and you can turn it into a three-dimensional picture, which is pretty cool. Students who had their cell phones this week, I invited them to take the cell phone out and download the app as long as they didn't need parental permission to download apps. Now, as I went around to each table, I said, do you need your family's permission to download apps? So I did that for each person. So if you notice that app being downloaded, there's actually a lot of really cool, just non-educational types of pictures as well. Another thing that we talked about was our nervous system. We went back to this poster right here and talked about way back in the 5th grade when students went to Sherman Lake. They were exposed to the 3 different zones, or if they were maybe exposed to it sooner than that, I'm not really sure. But you've got a comfort zone, you have a learning zone, and you've got a panic zone. So we kind of reflected on what does that mean. And in our class this week, we talked about the nervous system and how with the polyvagal theory, one of the statements is that you can flux from each different state, and based on what state you're in, you will either be ready to learn or your body will be in a sympathetic activation where you're in fight or flight. And then if you're in this panic zone, you're actually in the freeze emotional state. So we went all the way around the block with our organisms and our systems, and then down into the cells. This next week, we're going to talk a little bit about telomeres. Those are cool, and some different things that we can do to help protect the length of telomeres and the health of telomeres. We will be also talking about creating a 3-dimensional, some kind of a model about the organelles that are inside an animal and or a plant cell. So get ready for more information about what these organelles are and what they do. So have a great weekend, and I'll see you in class.